Hi everyone, welcome back to the Lighthouse Sessions. I'm excited. I have my new friend Katrena Friel with us. And Katrena and we've been scheduling for months and we're finally here, so I'm super excited. Katrena, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
For about 32 years now, I've been a personal brand expert and I've been specifically building personal brand businesses for startup, um, as a startup type thing. So they might be leaving corporate, or they, might be thinking about leaving corporate, or I prefer if they are still in their jobs generally, because that way they haven't wasted any time or any money. But the reality is people have left and for many, many different reasons. And I believe everybody's got a personal brand business within them. And that would include 7 streams of income, giving you access to 7 streams of income. So I've been building those sort of businesses for 32 years now and still loving it. It still wets my whistle and absolutely love meeting fabulous, wonderful thinkers that are very, very bright, but at the same time often don't know who they are and what they could stand for. So my job or my genius is to pull that out of them
Uh,
and, jump in.
I was just going to say, I love that because I think I'm meeting a lot of corporate people, and a lot of them have been thrown out of the airplane without a plan, and now they're trying to figure out how do they land. And one thing I will point out, and then we'll get into the 7 streams. A lot of people, they used to work at big companies, and people talk to them just because of the business card they held, the logo on their card, and now they're on their own going, uh-oh, nobody cares who I am. So is that kind of the person you'd like to work with? Or I think you prefer them before they've been thrown out of the airplane, but
I do, because by then they're starting to get a little bit desperate, a little bit concerned, especially if they've left it. They might have sort of taken it as a paid holiday and they relax for a year, and then they come to me desperate going, oh my God, I need revenue absolutely now. And I prefer it if you do it as sensibly beforehand. So straight out of corporate, you've got your payout. Yeah. So the idea that what you're talking about, Jeff, is they've identified with their role. Their identity is
yeah.
their old role. And a lot of corporates will struggle because their identity is wrapped up in it. So when that identity is taken away from them, they tend to go into a spiral about, oh my God, who am I really?
Yeah.
And that's a wonderful place to come and meet me, because I'll show you what you're sitting on and you won't see that for yourself. I'll guarantee it.
Yeah. Well, for what it's worth, I'm just meeting you, and I think you and I are going to have some fun here because one of the things I find is people have no idea what makes them unique until they have to discover, and usually it takes someone like you to say, okay, here's what you're really good at, and here's what matters. So first of all, let's start with the most important thing, the definition. You talk about personal branding, and I have my biases. I feel like everybody in corporate should be building their personal brand. What does that mean to you, and what would you say to somebody that doesn't believe they need a brand?
Well, you're right. Everyone has a personal brand, and your personal brand walks in the room before you do. And that's what your brand is. It's who's walking in the room way before you even get there. And a lot of personal brand at the moment, people feel that like it's their LinkedIn profile. And yes, we like to keep our LinkedIn profiles up to date. And yes, I want you active in there, but that's not your personal brand. Your personal brand is so much more than that. It's your thought leadership. It's what you can see that other people can't see, that people would want to talk to you about. And usually you double down and get real clarity around what your expression in the world is or should be. And that's sort of my job, where I'll take somebody who goes, I don't really know what I am. And so what I'll do is I'll start to get them to tell me their story, and they'll just sort of, I don't care if it's a linear slapdash story, because what I'm listening for is the clues. So it's like a Hansel and Gretel story. I'm going to follow the breadcrumbs down the pathway, and I'm going to be picking up those breadcrumbs. And there's key things. So usually your career is this. You're interested in this. And then what pisses you off the most? What are you most passionate about? That's usually it. So go, oh, corporate, they're bloody like this all the time and they never solve this problem. And I've lived with this problem for 30 years in corporate. And I go, well, how about we write that book? And then we'll go off and we'll write that book. And the book is the beginning. It's where you place the rigor. So nobody else has written that book. So it's not really for the audience to read the book, because of course that will happen. But it's more important that, one, you position yourself as the expert in that particular field of excellence. Plus, you've written the book means you've done the rigor of working out your thoughts. And then I build everything from there. The book is so important. Most people do it the other way around. They go and build the business and then say 20 years down the track, oh, do you know what? I should write a book. Everyone keeps telling me to write a book. We write the book at the beginning so that we know who we are and what we stand for and what we don't stand for.
I love that. Now, you and I think we could have an entire episode just about the importance of that book, because that's one of the things I really stress to people is, if you want to be taken seriously, why not lead the field that you're in and share your ideas? And it's amazing how many people don't want to be seen as a leader. So you talked about the 7 streams. So I'm guessing the book is stream number 1. But I want to be clear on this. I'm going to ask you, I know the answer to this, but a lot of people think, oh, you're going to help me become a number 1 best-selling author, and then I'm going to get royalties, and I'll move in next to J.K. Rowling. I'm guessing that the revenue from the book is not from book sales. Is that fair?
That's correct. If you sell $5,000 of books in a year, you're in the top 1% of authors.
Yeah. I had a friend who got to that number, and she was excited because she now gets, I think, 30 cents a book.
Well, it's a long way to the top when you want to rock and roll. Can't be bothered with all of that. Yes, the book is a positioning tool. That's where the value is. The book opens doors for you so that you can sell the signature program. So the book is very much doing a lot of heavy lifting, and it's not whether they buy the book or not. In fact, I want you to get to a point where you give the book away like you would a business card. It's sort of more of it's a positioning. It shows that you've done the rigor. No book, no rigor.
Yeah. It's funny because I have a lot of people that say, oh, I want to be a speaker, but I don't want to write a book. And it's like, it's getting harder and harder. Apparently that's something you rant about.
The people you're talking to, Jeff, need to go. They've got some real negative thinking going on there. But you're right. You're onto the second stream of income, and that is speaking. So what we do is we combine the book opens the door to get you to speaking. Because when you send somebody a book and say, I want to speak on your stage, they take a flick through, your bio, flick through the table of contents, and they see whether you're a good fit for their stage and their theme for that particular year, perhaps. And so speaking to me is my sales and marketing strategy.
Yes.
If you don't speak, you're the world's best kept secret, and you may as well just give up. You've got to speak. And when I say speaking is, yes, on the stage, yes, it's live, but it's also digital. We've got so many wonderful opportunities now due to people like you, Jeff, who are holding space for our thoughts on these wonderful podcasts. And so it's a combo of those two, podcasting, which includes YouTube, and then you've got your stages. And I've just come back with a pile of leads this big from my last gig. So I'm ready to go and find my person, go and find my avatar from that pile.
I love that. And I think that's one thing I find is people try to write the book for everybody. and they try to have this stage presence for everybody. And it's like, no, you just need that avatar, and the better you get that nailed in, the better everything else works. So now,
100%.
again, to the stage point of view, and obviously I love podcasting. I love being a guest, and I love being a host. A lot of people don't understand the power of, maybe you don't want to, not everybody has the ability or the willingness to run their own podcast, but to be a guest on other people's podcasts, it really allows you to refine your topic. And of course, it's kind of that you use the word rigor. It's also the evolution of that rigor. Is that a fair comment?
Yeah, definitely. You'll find that some podcasts you have to be quite quick, and other podcasts want a nice, lengthy, slow discussion. And so you're able to, I call it the accordion method. You can expand out your thoughts, and you can also collapse in your thoughts, and be very succinct. And
I love that.
is the skill.
And honestly, I get a lot of guests who I think I'm the first person they've ever shared their story with, because they want it all, and it's like, no, we only have so many minutes. You can come back, but today we're going to get this much covered. So I'm counting. So that's 2 revenue streams.
Yes.
What's your third?
The third one is training. This is where the rubber hits the road. The training is your signature program. This is where people will actually get educated. Prior to that, the book outlines the what and the why. You don't give away the how for $20. When you hit the stage and you're a speaker, you're really going in with your very, very high level philosophy, so that people go, oh, I never thought about it like that. And then they love you so much, they come then, have a meeting with you, and sign up to the signature program. And the signature program is, in my view, should be a high ticket item. It's not where we're selling a $20 online course or a $200 online course. Again, it's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. I think what I like to do is create a Rolls Royce experience, a learning experience where people can spend 5, 10, 20,000, maybe more, just depends. Once we get there, we'll have a little look at the value that we can stack into this educational experience. And that's really what you're selling, is you're selling this experience. And that's where the money is, really.
I'm going to throw something at you, because I have a few friends who've been through the programs on how to create the low ticket items. And my observation is they're more work, they're less fulfilling, and then I got to deal with cheap people once I've produced it. So to me, it's like, I don't even want to bother with, everybody has a $20 course on Udemy or something like that. Do something a little, but one of the things I like about a high ticket item is I get to have fun and brainstorm what can I put in, rather than what do I have to take out to make this the bare minimum. So
well, 75% of people don't open the online program, and of those that are left that do open it, 95% do not complete. So what you'll find is, when you understand adult learning and learning styles, you'll find that most people are not capable of being left to their own resources alone to go, woohoo, I get to do another module all by myself. Yay, how exciting. There's just no energy there. And so it really isn't conducive to learning, and that's why you've got those sort of stats. Whereas for me, I do a one-on-one exclusive experience, and there's nowhere to hide. The work is going to get done regardless.
Nowhere to hide.
I'm right there. I'm going to pull you through regardless. And that is a good coach. That's a good mentor, that we're going to get there. Rather than, here's my $200 program. Goodbye. Have
Good
fun.
luck.
Good luck. I know you're not going to open it, but thanks for your $200. I get no joy. I get no buzz. I'm miserable if you haven't opened it. To me, I can't live in that world. I just can't, because it's making me miserable that I've taken you $200 and not given you any value. So to me, I prefer to take your 20K and give you a whole heap of value.
See the joy. I used to create courses.
See the joy and experience the joy. Exactly.
Yeah.
Why do we do this otherwise?
I used to create courses, and then I'd be on the back end going, "Why isn't anybody opening?" Like it just.
I know, it's terrible.
And I couldn't leave it alone because I'd be like, "Okay, you've spent money on this. Why aren't you opening it?" And then I was like, "Man, I'm starting to feel like a really needy ex-girlfriend." It's like.
Yeah, totally. No, I get it. I really, really don't like it. But what I do say to my clients is, hey, let's build the big boy first. Yeah. And then what we'll do is when you do a 3-day retreat, we'll record it. Very high-end recording, 2 cameras, really good audio, la, la, la. We'll bring it back. We will cut it up. We'll edit it all. We'll create. You've already got the workbook, of course, so we'll just give them that. And then we'll add another layer, and this is where coaching comes in. So this is the next stream, is coaching, where you'll add another 6 coaching sessions to it that are live with you, the expert, rather than what I find the industry has done is the industry doesn't want to touch you, doesn't want to talk to the plebs, the people. And so they want to remove themselves. And they've been talking about leverageable business model since I've been a baby. And I've been in this for 32 years. And if I hear leverageable business model one more time, I get it. It's good business. Yeah. But at the same time, I'm not interested in taking $200 and not touching anybody. I want to work with people. I want to do the work. I want to get the result. I want to get the outcome. I mean, why did we get into this in the first place? I think the coaching industry has a lot to answer for in that regard. They really don't want to talk to you, and they certainly don't want to touch you. Bill.
Well, it's fascinating because now I'm getting inundated with Substack requests and people wanting me on school, and I'm like, no, I don't want to have you spewing stuff at me. If you've got something worth sharing, let's figure out how we collaborate. And but for what it's worth, I'm amazed how many people can't answer 2 questions. Who do you serve and what do you do for them? It's like, if you can't answer those, my brain I can't help you because I'm confused. Yeah.
Well, that clarity is really rare. And I've been doing this for a very long time, and not very many people have ever come to me saying, I know, who I am and what I want to do. Most of the time they come to me, and that's my joy. My joy is giving clarity. I absolutely get a buzz out of doing that. And within 15 minutes, I can usually discover what the clarity needs to be. And then they can either run with that all by themselves, good luck, or they go, I'll just do it for you. So come over here and I'll build it all for you. Because you guys aren't practiced at building these things quite quickly and getting on with it. What they end up doing is wasting. It works out that they waste about $75,000 in about 5 years, and they still haven't built anything. Yeah. Nothing's there. And so that drives me crazy. That's another stat that just is hopeless. They're going to all these courses, they're buying all these little things, all these bits and pieces, and every expert they talk to, Facebook expert, that's the silver bullet. LinkedIn expert, that's the silver bullet. Online programs, that's the silver bullet. And they're going to speak to all these things. Nothing's bringing it all together into one thing where you'll actually produce something. This is because none of that is silver bullet. There is no such thing as a silver bullet. People surely have worked that out by now. And now
apparently no.
I'm the silver bullet. Excuse me. I'm the silver bullet. It's like, no. The problem's going to be with AI is that idiots who don't know anything are going to be able to look good. But the minute they get up on stage, what are you going to do? The minute you get on a podcast, what are you going to do? If you're a cardboard cutout and have no substance behind you, you're not going to be able to go out into the world at all. You'll be able to write a book. You'll be able to have a website. You're going to be able to post because that'll be your AI clone. But God help you if you actually met a person or had to deliver to a customer. Oh gosh, what are you going to do?
Oh, you and I are going to have many conversations, Katrena. I am, for what it's worth, I use AI to sharpen my thinking, but what I'm seeing out there is a lot of people are using AI to replace thinking, and I'm like, you do realize it averages. So every brilliant person gets averaged to the middle, and the people who are less than brilliant get pulled up.
Yeah.
But the minute they, when somebody tells me there's two red flags in my world, somebody says I'm a super connector or I'm a thought leader. Because the funny thing about most thought leaders is you do it rather than say you do it. If you're a thought leader, and I believe you are a thought leader, I'm going to come to you and say, Katrena, tell me more. But if you start the conversation with, trust me, I'm a thought leader, that's about this close to influencer to me, and I run like hell. So,
yeah, totally. We've ruined that word too. Yeah, I like to call it an expert, and I believe everybody is already an expert, but you've got to become the expert. That's why I call my business Becoming the Expert, because by the time you've gone through the rigor of building it with me, and we've put it all together, you really have become the expert, because you are now positioned, packaged, and priced as the expert in your field of excellence. A lot of people just don't even know what their field of excellence is, and so that's my job.
Well, and that's, I meet a lot of people who are, I'm good at everything. No, you're not.
No, you're not. You're not even good at bragging, because we don't believe you.
You're not credible. I see expertise almost like somewhere way back, Michelangelo was asked about how he carved David, and he said, I just studied the rock and I removed the things that weren't him, and then he revealed himself. I have a feeling you're doing a lot of taking away, because I think that's one of the problems I see with people who want to be an expert, is they don't, they keep going, and then I can do this and I can do this. It's way more believable to be an expert at a narrow field than to try to say, I had somebody who said, I'm expert at marketing, sales, operations, and something else. And I went, I don't believe you.
No, they are just different disciplines, and mastery in each different discipline would take a lifetime. And real experts understand that they're going to continue to learn and learn, and they are not just lifelong learners, they are activated lifelong learners. And activated, the difference is that they're proactive with their development. So people like me have always been searching, always been learning. I've never got bored with it. I continue to learn. And and now AI's here to play with. I'm so excited about it because I'm activated lifelong learner, whereas lifelong learners, just normal people, they're 90% of the world.
Yeah.
Lifelong learners, they react, and they only learn when they absolutely are forced to. And now they'll only learn AI because work might make them do a course or something. But that doesn't open the brain up to truly learning. You're just there plodding along going, oh, bloody hell, I wished I wasn't here. That's not the kind of learning we're talking about. 10% of the world's population are usually the entrepreneurial mindset people, the growth mindset people. They're the activated lifelong learners. And I believe I've always been one. And that's what made me different, because they're like, why are you bothering? My husband used to look at me going, you're changing a game? You're learning something else? I'm like, yeah. And you watch me. It will give me joy. I will slot it into my thinking, and it will become embodied within me. And then I produce something completely unique out of it, because it's now blended with all my other stuff.
Well, one thing I would say is the activated learners, we also get obsessed with frameworks, and, we're always, it's kind of like, what else can I add to this secret little recipe that is my weird little brain? And I used to think that I was crazy at times because I was so far ahead in a lot of stuff. I live on the bleeding edge of technology, and if I'm not breaking something, I'm not happy. And then I'd look around and go, why isn't everybody else as excited as I am? And then I went, I'm sure you've seen the technology adoption curve, but I'm like in the tiny front end, and then everybody else is over at the back going, I will learn this when somebody says learn it or get fired. Whereas I'm like, I'm going to learn this just because I want to. So
yeah. It's completely unique. And as I said, it's 10% of the world's population. I want to switch people on to being an activated lifelong learning, but by making learning fun. The reason they don't like learning is because they've had a terrible learning experience throughout their entire life, from primary school to high school to college to now work. Everything's dry, boring, slow, beige. And I just think, God, no wonder you hate learning, because it's that. Whereas when I come in the room and go, here we go, and I add my energy, my passion, my excitement, and experts make complex things easy.
And
that's
fun.
The art. That's what makes you an expert.
All right, so I've lost count, but I think I had 4 fingers. You mentioned workshop. What's the 5th one?
So we've got book, speaking, training, coaching, and now we've got the advanced stuff, which is mentoring, facilitating, and consulting. And, you know, those 3 things will come when you want to sell something in for the 2nd year. So the 1st year, they do your training, your fundamentals, your foundational program. And then they love you so much, they want to stay with you. What's the next level? This is now they've got the language, they've got the understanding. Now they want to go to year 2. And that's where you'll mentor them, you'll facilitate the wisdom from their own thinking, as opposed to putting thinking inside their brain, which is training.
I love doing that. I never thought about actually that I do it consciously. That's fascinating. Now let's talk, because you threw out a bunch of labels, and I'm pretty sure I know what they are. But let's unpack mentoring and facilitating and consulting, because a lot of people don't know the difference. And to me, it's fascinating, because I will get people saying, hey, can you mentor me? And they assume that means I'm going to give them my best ideas for free. So let's start with mentoring, because I think that's one not enough people are aware of. And my little rant, I want to get back to the old artisan days where we had the master and the apprentice. Like, I genuinely, we've gotten so busy being in a hurry. It's like, let's go back to the old days where we took our time and we savored gathering that knowledge. Now everybody just wants the answer. Yeah,
so true. I love that vision for you. Maybe that's what you should be teaching. So to me, mentoring and coaching get mixed up. So coaching is any time you ask a question, and if you're an expert, you're asking powerful questions that gets people to really think hard. They go, they go like this. I'm not, you know, that's a really good question. It means they're going right to the back of their brain to try and find the answer. It's not right here. So coaching, really good coaching, is powerful questions. So anytime you ask a question, you are coaching. You are not giving them the answer. You're asking questions to get them to access that part of their brain that holds the answer. And believe me, we all know the answer to absolutely everything, because we have access to the world's, the universe's greatest computer. And then mentoring is where you've been there, done that. You just tell them your point of view because you're the expert. And so whenever you're telling someone what you reckon and you're telling somebody what you recommend, that's mentoring. And that takes people very quickly. That's why mentoring is quite fast, is because it gets them from here to here, and then you can start coaching from there. But if I just coached my clients, we'd be here for 20 years. It wouldn't get it done. They're buying my view. They're buying my point of view, my perception, my experience. And so I just say, we're doing this, and here's why. And they go, oh, okay, well, you're the expert, you know. So we'll do it that way. Yeah.
Well, and one thing I want to point out, I meet a lot of experts who will ask the client, what do you think we should do? And it's like, do you realize how little credibility you have after that question?
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's like, no. You're there. I don't go to the doctor and say, you know, I'd really like to be treated for this disease. And the doctor goes, well, if you think so, okay, let's do that. By the way, you said the word reckon. I do not hear that word enough, but it always makes me smile. So it's one of my favorite words, but I don't have enough space to put it in language. Now I'm going to have to. So let me think. Now, you talked about consulting. So what do you reckon the difference is between consulting and mentoring? See what I did?
Yeah, well done. So let's leave consulting almost on its own island. For now, just to finish off, so we've done coaching and mentoring. Let's come over and do the other pair, and that is training and facilitating. Training is where you've bought an agenda. Here's what we're covering. You can see it. You can point at it on a piece of paper.
Here's the textbook.
Here's the thing. This is what we're going to do, and you can follow the bouncing ball. So we know what we're covering. And that's why we do training first normally, because you have no language. You don't know what you don't know. Here's what you don't know. We're going to tell you, teach you. And then you come over to the facilitating. This is for advanced people that already know a lot about that particular topic. And this is where we can use the room. This is where we go back to asking powerful questions, but to the room, and we pull the wisdom from the room. So they're all learning off one another. There is no real agenda. There's just usually a theme or a topic or a bit of an outcome that we want at the end. And so that's what facilitating is for. So you can see those two that are grouped, the coaching, mentoring, the training and the facilitating. Then we come down to consulting. This is where you bring it all together. So you go into an organization and you say, let me have a look-see. And you go around and you look at all the things they're doing well, all the things that they could improve, and all the things that are a shit show. And so you can see all of that because you're the expert.
And worse, the shit show they've gotten used to ignoring, right?
Yeah, that they actually think is great. That's horrific. Yeah. So you come out and you say to them, all right, here's my report. Here's all the things, the green light, the amber light, and the red light stuff. And now I'll just leave you with that. Or we can talk about what you can fix yourself, what you might need my help with, but I'll help you to fix it yourself. And here's what I could improve for you, and come in and sort out. And so that's when the scope starts to develop. What's in the scope, what's not in the scope, and you don't want scope creep later on. So you want to try and incorporate everything into the corral. And you might give them the first 90-day sprint is to fix all the crap that they could just go and fix now that they can see what they see. And then the next 90-day sprint is to do it with them, some of the blended learning stuff that they could do for themselves, but with me supporting them. And then the next 12 months after that, I'm going and doing the big change management projects, whatever the consultant reckons, and whatever they've signed up for.
I love that.
Incremental.
I think it was Einstein that said we can't solve the problem at the same level of thinking that created it. And I think a lot of people are like, oh, we can fix it ourselves. You probably can, but will you is the real question.
Yeah. And also, why didn't you see it? A good consultant comes in and sees everything that you can't, because you're in the weeds every single day. You didn't notice that you've put on 20 pounds. Whereas with us, we can come in and go, oh my God, there's a lot of fat here. Jesus Christ, we've got to sort this out. And they just didn't see it happening over time. So consulting is an amazing art form, and only experts can come in, charge $1 million and just tap the nail exactly on the head right there within 15 minutes.
I love that. Now, you did tease earlier, you said there was an 8th revenue stream. Do you want to trot that out?
We weren't going to tell them that, Jeff. We were just going to leave it as an open loop to bleed out. It was so funny. But yeah, let's give it to them. The 8th one is when you've run this personal brand business, you've found various champions that really love it and live it as a lifestyle, and then they become your certified licensees. And this is where you could almost do a sort of a franchise model, but you train them. So there's a train the trainer component that they pay for. Then there's ongoing licensing fees for your IP. And then, you create a community of like-minded people that are out there doing what you're doing, And I've recently, after 32 years, I've recently done this for myself, which is called the Business Mentoring Institute.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so now they will get trained in the Becoming the Expert program. I'll show them all my secret sauce and how I do it, and then they can go off and do what I've done for the next 32 years, but in their way, in their flavour. But I'll show them the structure and the processes of it.
Well, and I think that's one thing that I want to point out. Excuse me. You are a very unique individual. You bring your unique background and your energy to it. Everybody has got to want to bring their own energy, because I see a lot of people who buy into franchises all the time and they're like, I'm not getting the results I was promised. It's like, because you're not as excited about it as the person who sold you the franchise.
Yeah, those big franchises are really, what you're doing is buying a job. And that's a really sad state of affairs. That's why I reluctantly even say the word franchise.
Yeah.
But it is a word that we know what it means. It means you're buying a system that is already trialed and been proven. But you're right, they're just buying a job. Whereas this is a, to do what I do and to then teach it to them how to do it, you've really got to come to the party with a lot of experience already. Yeah. And so that's what I'm out there looking for. I'm looking for these weird unicorns. And what I've found is that one couple needed two people to do it, the husband and the wife. Yeah. And another one is going to specialize in diversity, people with diverse type thinking. And I reckon that's an amazing specialty. And while I could double down on that, I don't want to. And I reckon everybody is on the scale of something.
Well, and I'm going to say that the people who orbit you probably tend to be more nonlinear rather than linear. One thing I've discovered, I do not try to appeal to the linear thinkers, because at some point I will accidentally break their brain and they get really mad at me when I do that. So now it's like, you guys stay on that side of the fence. I'm over here. This is where we play and we think without safety nets. But again, I think it's just, we appeal to people like us or people who want to be like us, rather than the people who are like, oh, you're crazy, let's lock them up. So you and I have a lot to discuss. We could keep going, but let's come to the practical. Somebody is watching this and they say, Katrena, you're amazing. Where do they go? How do they learn more about what it's like to collaborate with you and build their... I'm going to say reveal their expertise, because you're not building it, you're revealing it. Is that fair?
Yeah, but we're also building it. So you'll walk away with a book, your signature program, your website, all your social setup, all the trainings included. Like, it's got everything inside the program that you need to get on with it. So we truly are building all the technical aspects of it. They just need to go to the website, really. That's the best place, because then you can find everything else there that you need. It's becomingtheexpert.com.au, because I'm here in Australia. So .com.au, becomingtheexpert.com.au. And then the easy next step is just to do a free discovery session where I can sit down, unpack, give you some clarity, and then you can just go on your merry way with those thoughts. Or you will never see yourself the same ever again, and I might break your brain, and that's okay.
Yeah, I think that's... I think our people are okay with that. My personal, if I can make somebody glitch to the point they forget their own name by just asking the right question and then shutting up, to me, that is the greatest joy. So I do a lot of podcasting just for that reason. Now, one thing I didn't ask specifically, but who do you like to work with? So how would you describe your avatar? Because to me, if you can tell me your avatar, and this is for me, not just for the audience, but my brain, I'll wake up at 2 a.m. and go, oh my God, Katrena needs to meet this person. So let's just talk a little bit about who you love to serve. What is that person? Do you have a name for them?
So I believe it's quite simple, and that is deep inside of yourself, there's this feeling that you are special in some way. Now, you've never told anybody, you don't know why you're special, but you just feel you're built for more. And there is a sense inside of yourself. And those people are the ones that I normally want to talk to. Now, the reality is they're sitting in a job that's boring the life out of them. They've been thinking about leaving, but they've got to get a plan together. And so until they get a plan together, they don't know what they're leaping into. And I'm not an advocate for just jump off the cliff and build the parachute while you're going down, because that's a good way to lose your home, get divorced, and your children hate you. So we don't want any of that to happen. I like to do a dual strategy where they're still in the job, pays them the money. I'll make you happier in the now. I absolutely guarantee that. While we build this thing in the background, and then suddenly you can start to make decisions down the track as to, once the business has proved itself to you and you're starting to learn how to close deals and make sales, then you can start to think, oh, I can knock back to 4 days a week or 3 days a week, or I could go part-time, or I could do whatever. But there's a trajectory to that. It's never just break it and go for it, because it's just not sensible, really.
Well, it's funny because I have a lot of young friends in their 30s and 40s, and they're like, I hate my life, I hate my job. And what I'm feeling, and I think you probably would address this, rather than just quitting and then hoping you find the next job, build the reputation and lean into that brand, because something tells me, even if they don't want to be a solopreneur, they don't want to be an entrepreneur, something tells me that the work you're doing also helps with their career. Is that?
1,000%. One of my clients in the middle of the program, we hadn't even finished, ended up with a $450,000 contract at one of the biggest banks here in Australia. So to me, what it does is it positions you, packages you, and prices you as an expert. And, you will get way, way more opportunities, and you will be a standout, a true activated lifelong learner, a true thought leader in your field of excellence. And that's what you need, especially in a country like America, where there's so many people. It's hard to stand out. But even in Australia now, you still have to stand out. There's so many. It's so easy to be excellent. Most people are just general, average, good. Very rare do you see great. Very unlikely you'll ever see excellence. So it's really not hard to be great. It's not. It's not.
A friend of mine
will position you correctly and give you a lot of opportunity, for sure.
A friend of mine gave me a saying. I don't know where he got it from, but he used to say that average is just the cream of the crop. And I was like,
that's a good one. That's such a good one. I love that.
It's so true, because that's the thing. You can be average, but average just means you're the first one ignored, not the rest of them. So
so that brings me back to that feeling again, where you just feel you're meant to be something. You're meant to be positioned correctly, and you're so humble and so modest that you don't dare say it out loud, that you're special in some way. But the best people actually do feel it. They just don't have to say it. And so that's what I'm reaching out to your listeners, saying, do you feel that? You didn't even know how to name it. It's this sense of self that is built. You've got a destiny built inside of you. You just
need been pushing it down.
Going, just be normal. Just be normal. Be normal like the rest of them. But 75% of people are unhappy in their current role. And during COVID, everyone was quietly looking forward to quitting. Quietly quitting, they called it. And then they scared us with another, and that's put everybody back in their box again. Oh no, go back to being fearful, go back to being scared. And they manipulate us in a weird way to make sure that they have their robots and their soldiers to do these horrible jobs, and they'll be the quickest ones to get rid of you. The minute they can replace you with AI, they will, and they are, and we are seeing it in real time right now.
Oh,
so it's not about when is this going to happen. It's happening already. We're in the midst of it. So start to get ready and plan your next chapter, because we need to evolve out of this. You don't want to be sitting at musical chairs with no chair.
I think that's what I'm seeing now is everybody, and again, I know enough about AI to know there's 99% hype, 1% truth. But I think that's the thing. It's the people that are secretly, they believe they were built for more, but they've had a long enough career that they're starting to think that more isn't coming. I feel like those people would run and hug you if they saw you on the street. So
they would, but they've never invested in themselves before. They've never put their hand in their wallet. The only development they've ever done is when somebody else has paid for it. And so that does not make you a activated lifelong learner. Activated lifelong learners put their own hand in their own pocket to learn what the hell they want to learn, not what some company wants to teach you, because that is usually 20 years ago stuff.
Yep.
You know, if we want to know the cutting edge stuff, we've got to find that for ourselves. So, you know, you've got to take a leap of faith. And quite frankly, most people haven't got the ability to be courageous about their own lives and about their own careers, and they will just sit there in misery until the day they die, and good luck with them. Good luck to it. I want to live a life of amazement and look back and go, wow, I could not have squeezed more juice out of this life. That's my objective.
I love it. Well, Katrena, I want to thank you. I'm going to put a disclaimer on this because I think people are going to have way too much joy watching, but that's not a bad thing. So thank you for taking the time and for being on the show with me.
Thank you so much, Jeff, for having me. It's been so fun. Thanks.